Hi guys, bear with me because I am still waiting for a very exciting sign to be put on this wall. I took your advice, you can probably guess what it's gonna say, but I'm in a very comfy new setup. I have a very big comfy chair. It's a little creaky, but that's fine. We have some real life messy drama and these are your stories. If you want to submit, the link is down below. All right, the first one wants to be left anonymous, which usually means it's pretty juicy. Hi Joss, before I write anything, I must be honest and say that I only came on here to check something out. One of my friends called me yesterday to say that there was a story featured on your channel that spookily resembled me and my situationship. It was about a crazy ex who hid fish around her cheating ex's house as a form of revenge. I'm pretty sure it's about me and my now ex-partner. Shut the Hold on. We all remember that story. The crazy ex told the story of how she hid the fish in her ex's house. This is the other woman, in quotations, because we're going to hear her side. This is insane. I'm so excited. I'm probably going to be seen as the big bad wolf here. But yes, I did meet him whilst looking at a house. And yes, that house was meant for me, my husband, and 4 boys. Things happen though, and I'm sure most people have cheated at some point. I don't know if I'd go as far as saying that, but sure, some people cheat. Not saying it is right though. When the girlfriend found out, it forced me to tell my husband, as we believed she would get to him first. It caused so much heartache, and for the kids' sake, it wasn't a good time at all. I wanted to work things out with my husband, but he wasn't having it at all. It sounds lame, but it pushed me and the boyfriend closer together. I had not been to his house prior to our affair being exposed, but the day it came out, I went to stay with him. I can confirm that the house stunk, as we figured. He told me that he thought she had done something to the house the previous day when she had last been there. That weekend, we started finding things. There were prawns hidden around the house. We found them in pillowcases, in cupboards, in shoes, even in the toaster. I can't believe this is happening right now. We found another strange substance in a few places. Now that the original poster said mackerel, that's what it likely was. All I know is that it smelled so bad, I can't explain. It was so bad that the next morning I went to brush my teeth and threw up because the smell was so vile. I guess her plan really did what she wanted it to do. We searched high and low for anything that was causing the smell, just as we thought we had found everything. We would find more in the most random of places. I give her credit. She was inventive. We had particularly noticed the smell when we walked into his room from being out. His mom came over that weekend and it was already pretty awkward as she was pissed at him about the affair. And apparently afterwards she said to him that she didn't stay long because my personal hygiene was so bad. Well, I hope he cleared that up. I asked him if he ever explained to her about the prawns. He asked me how on earth could he explain that to her. Oh my God, so this man just let his mom think that that smell was your hygiene? That specific thing would have me the most mad. Needless to say, I was pissed at him. It wasn't the best introduction to his mom anyway, and now she thinks that the pungent smell was caused by me, because of course the smell had only been there since I was present. This is around the time where I realized I had probably made a huge mistake. It has to be the same ex and my situation, because she even mentioned Viagra. Yes, that was another thing I found when it was too late. He was impotent and Viagra only worked half the time. Over the next few weeks, I watched my new man turn into a paranoid mess. He would continue to search the house, he would look out the windows. Not helped when he was called into work and fired after she had exposed some personal emails he had sent her whilst together. I do remember that part of the story. This is insane. I can't believe this is happening on my channel. It seemed that all he would talk about was her. Just when I thought things would settle down, he would discover something else in the house that would start him off again. She had loosened every screw in the house. She had written messages in the mirrors that only showed up when they were steamed up. She even took the filters out of the kettle, the oven hood, the Hoover. This went on for a few weeks until I couldn't take him or the smell anymore. Now knowing she sewed fish into his curtains, it made sense why the smell never went away, despite us cleaning for hours and hours. After a month, he put his house up for sale. Every single person who viewed it commented on the smell. The estate agent didn't believe the story about his ex, and I could tell from the whispers and looks that they thought I caused the smell. I mean, that's karma doing its thing. Although I don't agree that people should think it's you causing that smell. He ended up accepting a lowball offer. This is around the time that I decided to call it a day. I couldn't deal with his paranoia. It wasn't the exciting relationship that I thought it could be. I ruined my life thinking I needed excitement. The reality did not meet the expectation. Now time has passed. I've learned a very hard lesson, but have been blessed with a second chance of happiness with an amazing man. The right way this time. Now that time has passed, I wish I could show some respect to her in a different life. I think we could have been friends. But she must have blocked me on everything as I'm unable to find her online. Moral of the story is to not cheat, no matter how tempting the green grass may ever seem. I think he learned the same lesson and often wonders if he is still looking over his shoulder for her. At least I know some ideas now should I ever be in her situation. And if she hears my account, then to her, I say sorry. I hope the fact that I threw up every day from inhaling rotten fish somehow makes up for it. The fact that I now know numerous people thought the rotten fish smell came from my bad hygiene still haunts me to this day. This is crazy. I feel like I'm in a movie, and please, I saw the original poster, the Crazy Ex, she called herself that. She commented when I read the story, and I think I pinned the comment because I was so excited that we heard from her. So if she sees this, I need your input. We have her. She's here. She has entered the chat. She's apologized. She told her side of the story. Please, please comment. I'm going to be in that comment section waiting. All right, the next story comes from Ray. My first years of teaching were from 2008 to 2018. The last 3 years were the worst ever. I taught at a school that was on a reservation. The town and subsequent schools are made up largely of American Indians than African Americans. I mention this to let you know about the racial makeup. This is important because they make it important. I am a Caucasian person. Color has never been important to me. I try to treat all my students equally, and I usually base it on respect. I was told before I went to the school that it was a different atmosphere, but I didn't listen, and now I know better. The students were very racially motivated. I could barely say anything to them without them saying that I was racist. One day, a young lady came in very dressed up in a cute little black dress or nice black shirt and skirt combo. It's been a little while. I can't remember the specifics except the color she was wearing. I complimented her, saying something about how good she looked in that color or something. The next thing I knew, another kid said, "That's racist." I looked at this kid and said, "Why? Because I said black?" I always felt like I was walking on eggshells around the kids, and they in turn treated me like dirt. Here are just a few things that happened, and if kids were involved, they were never disciplined. Throughout the years I was there, between the students, the staff, and the administration, I was bullied horribly. The students were never held responsible for what they did. I wish at the time I had taken things further, but with how my mental health was at the time, I was just happy to be out of the situation. During 2015 to 2016, I had a woman principal. For the most part, things seemed fine. There were a few instances where the students tried to be racial with me, but it wasn't common. Then one random day, I don't remember when, but later in the school year in my first period class, a student put hand sanitizer in my water bottle. Oh, it would taste so bad. Not to mention, probably not very safe. I wasn't told until the kids left. I threw out the water and nothing else happened that year with the students. Now, after the year-end tests, the principal told me that I wouldn't be teaching English on my campus next year. That did make me nervous. My license is kindergarten to 9 and 6 to 9 English language arts, ELA. Now, just because it says I can teach everything besides ELA under 7th grade doesn't mean I should. During 2016 to 2017, there was a new principal, a man, who I'll call Max. I got into contact with Max, though I was still trying to get transferred. I was trying to make sure I could teach English. Of course, he couldn't guarantee that. I ended up not getting transferred. Max put me teaching 6th grade science. I didn't have a book or any curriculum. I had to make it up as I went and try to stay at least one day ahead of the students. This year, these kids were hard to manage. They were super talkative and disrespectful. Oh, I was one of those kids, y'all. I was in the hallway half the time in class. I was talking back. Oh, Joss, you're just a piece of work, I tell you. They didn't listen and they straight up yelled at me. This year was the worst of what happened to me at the school. In my last period class, one day it became chaotic. One of my rules was that they had to be in their seats and quiet before they could leave. I was saying this before the bell rang and telling them about some other stuff as well. Some kids were putting their stuff into book bags when the bell rang and I was standing in front of the door. Not even 5 seconds pass and there are still people standing and talking. I tell them again that they will not leave unless everyone is seated and quiet. But now they are yelling at me, and if I don't let them go, buses will leave soon. Then they say that if I don't move, then they will move me. Ooh. I'm not moving and repeating myself. It's not even been 2 minutes. I'm telling them they have to calm down and stop talking. Then a student gets up and tries to physically move me away from the door. Then the principal comes in. He gets them to calm down and backs me up. Thank God. After the kids were gone, I began shaking because of what had happened. Also during this year, the kids found my Instagram. Yeah, reason 101 why I could never be a teacher. Thank God I've privated every album on my Facebook page. Because all my high school and clubbing days are all on there. 3 girls and a boy. The girls were just being ugly and trying to hurt my feelings by cyberbullying me. Imagine being a grown adult and you're getting cyberbullied by some of the students at your school. No. The boy was doing what you think he was doing. He gave explicit details. I reported it, but nothing happened to any of them because they were protected under free speech. Protected under free speech, if I had done what that young boy had done, I would have been arrested, lost my job, reputation, etc. Nothing happens to him because he's protected under free speech. I doubt that. I still doubt that to this day. At the time, though, my mental health was in such a terrible place, I just wanted the situation to be over. I can't believe there's still more. During 2017 to 2018 school year, it became clear that Max was trying to get rid of me. Max put me on an action plan. This is generally done either when a teacher needs to do better or to get a tenured teacher. Max's observations were no more than 10 minutes, and he'd always verbally give me positive feedback. However, when I would get back to my written informal observation, everything would be marked as developing, basically saying that I was doing things terribly. I couldn't prove that these observations were wrong, so that started to wear at me. As the year went on, because of the things that were happening, the kids began to misbehave. I started missing work. After a couple of days, Max said I need to give him a doctor's note. He never asked for one before, so I wasn't going to at first, but then I thought to check with it. I got my psychiatrist to write a note saying that I needed to miss work on occasion because of all the things that I was going through: depression, anxiety, bipolar, and vertigo. I thought that would be the end of it. Nope. Almost every time I was out, he would ask for a note. One day in class, the kids were engaged in their work assignment when all of a sudden I worked very hot and dizzy. I went to stand in the corner of the room next to the AC. I put my head in my hands to massage my temples for maybe a minute. He decided to walk in. At that moment, I got reamed for that, of course. But that timing, of course. He said that I was a liability, and if I wasn't feeling good, I needed to call the office and get a sub. Finally, at one of our meetings many months later, I told him that he needed to stop harassing me. Then he told me that he wanted to bring in the head of HR. I told him that I'd like to speak with that person on my own. I know that Max spoke to that person before I emailed him. I can't prove it, but I feel it very strongly. My husband and I sent that person an email explaining everything that had been going on with the absences and the harassment. That is when the head of HR sent an email back saying, "So what is your question?" It was at that moment that I knew no one cared about me or was going to help me. I knew I needed to quit. I knew that Max was going to put in that I need to be fired, so this would at least circumvent that. Right before I quit, I found out that allegedly my kids put hand sanitizer in my drinks 2 weeks before I found out about it. I asked the kids to be charged because the last time nothing had happened to the kids. A day or so before I quit, I found out that the kids had changed their statements. I find that to be too convenient. I tried to go back to teaching in 2021. I started in September though, so that made things a little more difficult. I was back to teaching 7th grade ELA though. I didn't make it more than 2 months before I started having migraines and vertigo. That's terrible. I missed days. I hated it because I felt a lot of pressure to learn technology that I never work with at an unnatural speed. I ended up resigning. Then my last attempt was in 2023. It was an 8th grade ELA. I got to start at the beginning of the year. The kids were great, the staff was great, and the admin was great. Everything was wonderful. Then bum bum bum, bum bum bum. I think that's how you're trying to say it. Within a month and a half, I started having migraines and vertigo. I'm missing days left and right. I ended up resigning because I wanted the best for everyone involved. My migraines and vertigo are stress-induced. Anytime that I wasn't professionally teaching, I was subbing. I still have my teaching license. I've tried to get other jobs, but nothing has worked out. I hope that this wasn't too much. Thank you, Joss, for reading it. I hope that if you read this on your channel, someone can learn from my mistake. Your health is more important than your job. Absolutely it is. Thank you for sharing that. I also feel really bad that you have to deal with vertigo and migraines because I have been there and I deal with fainting. It's a mystery cause. Don't ask me questions. I've done many testing my whole life. I just faint. Sometimes, yeah, no reason at all. It just happens all the time. So I struggle with that with certain jobs sometimes because obviously I would faint at work and then I'd be sent home. So that's really tough that you have to like deal with that all the time. And I hope there's some kind of solution for you and your vertigo and migraines. Maybe people have some tips in the comment section. I don't know if that'll totally, heal your problem, but maybe it could help. Before we get in the next one, hydration station time. Grab your beverage. You should take a sip of water today. And cheers. If you're on my shorts channel, and then I got this at Dollarama, and it's a color changing cup. Next one wants to be left anonymous. Fake names are being used. Just wanted to say I love your videos. Thank you. By the way, my name is Dakota, 24 female, and I'm married to James, 26 male, in the military. We've been together for 5 years, tied the knot in 2019, and even adopted a child. I love adoption so much. Everything is going well, but I've never actually met James's family in person, only spoken to them on the phone. As for my own family, we don't really have a relationship. James, on the other hand, is close with his family. He supports me financially so I can focus on college, which I appreciate. Even though I don't have any issues with James's family, I can't help but feel like they don't respect our relationship. In December of 2023, his mother asked me what I wanted for Christmas. I requested a $20 video game cookbook. However, on Christmas Day, I received a candle while my husband and child unwrapped gifts that they wanted. Skip forward to 2024, his father's medical issues came to light. His older sister bought James a plane ticket to be with their family for the holidays. Although I understand the importance of him wanting to see his dad, I feel frustrated that he didn't set any boundaries or refuse the ticket, leaving me and our child alone. We are in a new state and don't have any support network. His family suggested at the last minute that me and my child could join him, but I declined. Do you think he should have turned down the ticket to stay with us or found an alternative solution? No. I'm trying to think because obviously I'm not in this position, but Matt, my partner, lost his mom. a year ago. So I'm trying to put myself in that position of a parent with, health issues or anything like that. I think he should be with his dad. I totally understand going out there to see his dad. I don't know all the details. And I do think the family suggested that you and the child could also go and be with the family and support him and them during that time, which I think if you didn't want to be in the state by yourself, that you could do that, especially if they're offering or suggesting it. So that's what I think. But I'm just on the outside looking in. I know there's probably a lot of details there that I don't know. I think the alternative solution would have been for you to go with him and you guys could all be together as a family and support during that time that his dad was having health issues. That's how I see it. Yeah, but guys, let me know your thoughts and your advice on this situation. And last but not least, we have another one who wants to be left anonymous. I'm a 40-year-old female who has spent a little over 3 months working for a supercenter grocery store. Buckle up, this is a long one. My hire date is August 28th, 2024, and at the beginning, everything seemed fine at first. I haven't divulged everything to HR yet. It's why I'm here to find out if I should go higher, because I don't know how many people are involved in this alleged conspiracy. Oh my God, this sounds very serious. I ignore a lot, but some things just keep building, and I don't know how to ignore the connection or signs any longer. I'm starting to think it's because I'm part Mexican. I don't have any friends at work to talk to either, and this is due to a personal choice because of past discrepancies. So my question is, when is enough? When is it okay to tell someone that your manager has touched your ass in passing every time he passes you? I'm not just telling a manager, I'm probably throwing hands. When is it enough when harassment or belittling by coworkers enough that you switch departments and get stereotyped by management in that new department saying you smell like feet? Girl, what? A stereotype in California, my native land for Mexicans, besides being called a wet dog because it was raining. While I watched my parents go through that, but never have I ever gone through it till that day at work. That is so wrong. I got reprimanded for something I had no training in. After the third day, they didn't like the fact that I was slow at it. They also said that I left shift 3 days in a row, 15 minutes early, and then came back and then signed out of my shift, of which she had no proof. And to clarify, I forgot to turn in my TC, which I have not had at the beginning of my shift, and that's why I returned to the department at that moment, and I was already signed out of my shift. I clock in 9 minutes early, so therefore I clock out 9 minutes early, which is expected in this store. So example, my shift is 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Damn, that's a long day. I can clock in at 10:51 a.m. and clock out at 7:51 p.m. Acceptable. But she said she reviewed the camera. But when I asked about the timestamps, she had no answer and forced me to accept the write-up when it was submitted. That's when the stereotype came up. Yeah, you heard that right. She brought it up after writing me up. Now I've got a disrespectful teenager up my bum. Started December 27th, 2024. They asked for help and I simply ask what order it is for, like what number is on it, etc., to give some indication that I am grabbing the correct one. And she says, quote, "Look at your effing TC." Now at this point, I could choose not to help her and just walk away, but I don't. I say, okay. I find the one, hopefully, and not only give it to her, but I dispense it for her as well as the whole order. I work in the online department, by the way. I could have chosen to walk away, but that's not me. Instead, I report her for her mistreatment, and when she came back from getting a talking to, she came back at a rage and said this, quote, "We should stop being a bunch of C words and stop wasting corporate's time and money and go do something." I'm not an idiot, even though she said it in a general context. I know that it was directed towards me, so I reported her again. She didn't like that either. Well, it's been a week now and I've had at least 3, maybe 4 days off in between all this nonsense, and I'm still getting dirty looks from everyone. I'm still seeing them running off in their little corners, talking and saying whatever they want because it is none of my business. And frankly, I don't care. They don't know me well enough to say anything about me, and it's not my fault that she can just not handle the consequences of her actions. Not my monkey, not my circus, you know? Well, today, January 1st, 2025, she brought in some friends to reprimand me, saying that I told them I wish I was 16 years old again so I can beat the living out of her. I never said that. Again, she is starting this because she cannot handle the consequences of her own actions. I don't speak to anyone because I don't know who to trust or who I can befriend, who I can confide in, vent to, etc. when she has already spoken to them and played the victim. So I sit in silence every day wondering if this is going to be my last day working, supporting my 5 kids, being the only working parent in the home and the only Spanish-speaking employee in the store. What do I do in this situation? I don't want to lose my job, but I don't think I have a choice. Well, if there's anything I have learned, it's that no job is worth your mental health. And it's so much easier to just be like, just quit when people have bills to pay, people have children. I get it's a lot more easier said than done to just say leave your job, because it's hard to find work. A lot of people are struggling to find jobs right now. But report all of that. There was so much in there that's so wrong. Absolutely not. It's not worth your mental health to go through that every day. Absolutely not. All right, y'all. Oh well, stay classy, stay sassy, and